And welcome back to Bethany TV. Quick one before we go into the topic. I think you've seen our advert, Bethany Santa. We have a Bethany Santa who will be coming on to the live shows. So for our viewers, when you're watching our live shows, look out for Bethany Santa. And when you see Bethany Santa show up, he's going to ask a very simple question. Quickly call in and answer that question. And when you get it right, and the questions will be about all our programs, so keep tuned to Bethany TV. When you answer that question right, he's going to give you a Christmas hamper, a beautiful hamper that has a lot of goodies in there and a lot of gifts. So viewers, don't miss that out. Keep watching all our shows from morning to morning and get your phones ready. Be on standby. The moment you see Bethany Santa coming onto your TVs during any of the live shows, then get ready to answer those questions and get your gifts. And remember you're watching Bethany TV. We're also live on our YouTube channel, so please tune in. This is The Code, a men's show that talks about various things that, touch men. And today's topic is, who prepares the boy child for marriage? We are seeing very many good wives and very few good husbands, and we've noticed that there is a gap. And for those who are just joining in, before the break, we discussed certain factors, some of the things that have contributed to poor preparation of the boy for marriage. And we saw some things were like the government policies, lack of the good African traditional system we had where the kojas, the uncles were involved. That entire space is dead. It's gone. Yep. And, we also looked at some of the harmful sides of the African traditional society as well, that empowered the man more than the woman. And so because the women were less empowered, so focus was onto them as to prepare for the homes, because the assumption was the boy was already sorted. As we come from the break, I'm in the studio today with Salongo. For those who are joining in, want to congratulate Salongo. Welcome. And our birthday boy. Yes, we also have a birthday boy today in the studio.
Amen.
And we're having a fantastic time in the studio.
Right.
So, quick one. We have now seen all that curfew.
Yep.
We've seen that we have very few good husbands and we have very many good wives. And women are actually struggling with these boys who are never prepared.
Right.
And preparation starts from the time they are adolescents. I mean, I've seen girls are prepared right from the time they're younger, which should have been the same for the boys as it was back in the day. Now the boys are just left to wander. And now we've seen that koja space is dead. Literally gone. Let's just even forget about it. We can't try to resurrect it. It's gone. Who should now prepare the boys? I'll start with Salongo, then to you, birthday boy. So, who should prepare the boys?
Before that, my wife, Nalongo, has just reminded me to pass a message to Mr. Livingston and the team at Bethany.
Yes.
For a wonderful job done.
Fantastic.
From Monday, we were at hospital from Tuesday to Saturday.
Yes.
We received the best treatment.
Yes.
Really?
At some point, we thought we had flown out of Uganda.
Lovely.
So you thought you had gone to the US?
Until I saw Dr. Underbutt around, I saw Mr. Livingston. Chari Mugwanga.
Oh, Chari Mugwanga.
Yes.
Yeah, we had to bring the US home.
Definitely. You already brought it in Uganda.
Thank you so
much. We have a Chicago back in
Amen.
Yes. So
Amen.
Mr. Livingston, thank you so much, and the entire Bethany team.
Please.
But more so, Dr. Nsenga, he's a god on earth. That man is very wonderful. Very, very wonderful. Even where others are saying, no, it's not possible. No, actually, my wife was a second experience where people said it's not possible. Even doctor said it's not possible. And Nsenga said,
it is possible.
Together, Chikuba.
So thank you so much, Mr. Livingston, the team at Bethany. We had Nasrita, who was very, very, very instrumental. The receptionist, so much. So Changambye mkwebaza mukama wange. Our twins are very safe. They are very healthy.
Nice.
And I know from next week we shall be visiting.
Yeah, of course.
The usual suspect.
The usual suspect.
So back to our topic on discussion. You see, there is urgent need by institutions, parents, or even government to craft a comprehensive education and more so that is focused on gender equality. This is to produce men that are equally good, just like women, equally responsible,
very
just
intentional.
Like women. So we should have intentional education, intentional impartation of knowledge, intentional impartation of life skills in men to have the desired type of husbands that you want.
Right.
That is very, very instrumental.
That's very true.
Yes, now that you said the Kojas are out of this scope, with our Kojas are DJs today. Our Kojas
That's
are,
true.
Yes, our Kojas are
They are slay kings. They are content creators.
Content creators.
That's our koja
Kojas are content creators.
Bavloga.
Yes.
Babera bavloga nga bavuma ebigambo bibi. Babera yes, those are our kojas.
Yes. And I keep seeing men calling themselves kojas, and the words that come out.
No, it's horrible.
I mean,
it's their services are the worst. My gosh.
Actually, watching their content created, 100 videos of their content, watch only one show of the code.
And you're sorted.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yes.
This one here, why would you look around for
exactly
confused people
you have
around.
If you have issues with Livingstone, at least listen to some good songs that will impart certain things like Christian songs and Christian message or even Kafero.
Kafero.
One Kafero song at least.
One
if you're not a
Kafero song.
Christian, one Kafero song. Yes. One Buradina and
Brandina.
Now Rumani.
Hey, brother. Hey.
yes.
So,
as our institutions have a major role to play, churches, traditional institutions like kingdoms, we should like today we have the Nabagereka organizing the Bisakati for all these years. Can we have the brothers with the king organize the Bisakati for the men?
Yes.
Or can we have
can another kingdom come up with such an idea?
With such an idea, but looking at the boys, can the first son's office be an official office of the state?
Of the state, yes.
That looks at.
I like how Mama Janet quickly picked up on the girl.
Because it falls within the mandate of her office.
Yes.
It is constitutionally under her office. So can you have the first son?
So can Generale atukwatemu. Something like that.
Yeah, that's the man of our generation. The man of our generation.
So now, away from those institutions, abana bajja kusalamu kali general atukwatemu bajjemu ekikulu kye badde ogezaako.
But I like the idea, like, can we have an intentional thing where the boy is looked at?
Very comprehensive and intentional.
Because homes are breaking because we do not have that desired man. When you look at, there's a huge disconnect. When you look at our grandfathers and you compare them to our fathers, there's a very big difference.
Right.
Definitely.
The way our grandfathers stayed with their wives for 50 years. We are, gone are the days where you would attend Jubilee celebrations. We have made 50 years of marriage. That is almost unheard of these days. When we were younger, those things we used to go for. Our dads, something happened.
Definitely. So to conclude, as those institutions have a major role, government, and so does government, has a major role in their policy framework.
Yes, I agree.
Yes, in what goes to our TVs,
right?
What goes on our TVs for our children to watch. Yesterday I was watching the Kampala Style Branch.
Yes.
By Abrams. It's a fashion show.
Yes.
Livingstone, don't look for it.
I don't know it.
The fashions they are pushing are very,
There's nothing to do with fashion. There's everything to do with being naked.
Yeah.
People
very sensual clothing kind
naked.
Of concepts. Yes.
Naked in broad daylight. Actually, it is prostitution in a corporate.
In a corporate environment.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So can government also regulate what goes on TV?
Very
I've seen
important.
other countries regulate. I've seen serious countries, Arab countries. Yes, and we're a Christian country, imagine. Yes. But then lastly, the parents. Can you be the role models?
Yes.
The back ends at your door as a parent. Be the role model. Talk to your children. Open discussions with your children about love, about sex, about commitment in marriage, about expectations. Yes, as parents. Children, you are talking off here where you said that today a child comes to you that your son. Because you have your girlfriend and the church is telling him you can't go far with your girlfriend before you've done church wedding.
Exactly.
So the kid is not prepared at all. And churches have pre-ticked boxes for what to teach these children, the knowledge to pass over. They are going to teach you something they taught Livingstone in the other year.
It's parents
have not had parents have not had an impact. More so, they are bad images.
They are bad examples.
They are the content creators you've talked about.
Exactly.
The vloggers.
Yes, they are the vloggers.
They are terrible examples.
So they need to be the role models.
And you know, that's a very important point. Like now we've said the Koja space has gone. Fathers should now step in. I know some fathers are very scared. There are fathers right now who are watching me right now, who are watching us. Your son is about to get married, or you have this teenager in your home, and you've not been the best example for him. There's still time to change, isn't it? Yes, because some of these boys will not look at the father as a role model. He would rather look at somebody else who he says, I want to be like that.
That's true.
Because the father has not been there. He mistreats the mother, talks poorly to the children, is a drunkard, etc. And this is a very good opportunity now, you know, for us to start, you know, pushing and encouraging and addressing these things. So, fathers, I like what you've said, parents. Because, by the way, mothers do a very good job. Mothers, I like one time when you said when there's a vacuum, women usually feel it. You know, most of us here, some of the big things, we got them from our mothers and our mothers' sisters. Or even maybe even your father's sisters, but none of the men in our line help.
Right.
So we are saying that mothers are trying their best to help their sons be a better man. Can fathers also pick that?
And the mothers can't tell us the main perspective. It still goes back to the man to tell us financial management has a man, to teach us expectations has a man. Because even mom will teach us expectations as a what? As a mother. So a father is going to teach us expectations as a man, financial management, communication, a comprehensive value system.
Yes.
So these things are very important.
Because you see, this man has lived with your mother, your father has lived with your mother for many years. He knows the woman very well by that time. That's the assumption. So who best to tell you about women than your dad? Who best to tell you about financial management in your home than your dad?
So
So now ideally the father should be, you know, respect,
get involved,
you know, appreciating, having empathy. These things we discussed earlier. Fathers, we are encouraging you fathers right now, step in that gap. Kojas have disappointed us. You know, nobody else is going to teach that boy to be a good husband but you. And we've left it to the church. You know, we say, you have how many counseling sessions? You go. We've left it to some YouTube channels that, you know, go and read up this. We've left it to books, media. But you right there have lived with his mom for 20 years. You're the best person to tell that boy what not to do and what to do. You are the best. Nobody else. Nobody else. So this is a good opportunity.
That's true.
For fathers to step in.
That's true. And you see, Keith, it is extremely important. You know, they say charity begins at home. Charity begins at home. And for me, both parents, mother and father, have a very pivotal role in making sure they prepare their son and daughter for marriage. You see, at the end of the day, I don't know why we start late. You need to understand that your daughter and your son is going to be someone's husband or wife at a later stage. So the way you bring them up, the way you talk to them, you just need to be intentional, just as you said, yes, and then try to understand what you should speak to them about and what you should do. You see that? I grew up in a home where we never had a maid. Never had a maid in my mother's house. I grew up with my mother. No maid. We used to cook for ourselves. We used to wash for ourselves. We used to do all the work in the house.
Just like many families.
No, exactly, yes. But you see, we have a culture, and then you have a maid in your house, and you want the maid to do all the donkey work.
And these
or you
kids
have
are here.
Another child of your husband from another woman, and you want that child to actually be a slave in your home, and your kids are seated on the side, they're seated on the screen watching movies, watching cartoons, and this poor boy is going about all the chores in the home.
I went for a graduation where the boy was making a speech, and he mentioned he made the maid stand. They'd had this maid who'd been with them for so many years.
Exactly.
And he thanked her almost as equally as he thanked the mom.
The mom. Can
He
you
said,
imagine?
without you, this wouldn't happen. Remember the times we did this. Remember, and
You
the maid
can
was
imagine.
very humble like this.
You
You
can
know,
imagine.
This boy to the woman, that maid.
The maid, than even the
Than the
mother.
parents.
And she was not even an auntie or a relative, but somebody who had looked after this
Yes.
boy for so many years.
So the parents are doing a lot in making sure that we have very responsible men. You see that? Trust me, you doing housework does not make you less of a man. You see that? It doesn't make you less of a husband. But you see, you get married and then it is your wife washing your boxers. Really? That is very humiliating and disgusting.
But
You as a
she
husband,
can offer.
She can offer.
But it's not her job.
It is not her job for your wife to wash your boxers. You see that?
But
If she does wash,
some men insist that she has to look after him because yasasura.
now that is humiliation and oppressing someone's daughter, because your parents didn't do enough to teach you to do what you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
These are your undergarments that you're supposed to wash yourself.
Yes.
And then you're making your fellow adult, your wife, to actually sit down
But my
and
wife
wash.
can wash.
You see that? That is very wrong.
Eh.
So I urge
And
parents.
we at a risk of
Yeah.
of getting these women to become very
No,
full
there's
of
nothing
malala
like
when you do like
not
that.
at all, not at all. I told you already, it
Eh.
doesn't make you less of a husband.
Yes.
You just need to know what to do. You see that? That time I've not done something in my house, maybe I'm so busy with work
I think
and I'm
we should put it
exhausted.
very clearly that
you see that?
much as it falls within the realms of a man doing his own undies, a woman can do it.
No,
Without duress.
Look,
Yes.
without duress, yes.
You know, one
But
time
see,
Ekanya,
when
remember
you
that
go-
cartoon Ekanya? Ekanya came home complaining and he said, he told his wife that, you know, that the lab today asked me for ridiculous tests. They asked me for a stool analysis, a urine test, and a semen test. How am I supposed to do all that? So the wife said, you just go in your car bucket there and you pick one boxer and you take it. that everything is...
It's in there. So you see that? So what am I trying to put across?
So there are things we are saying that when the woman didn't touch, our things can stay in the bucket for a long time.
Exactly, yes. So you go to the bathroom with your boxer. Look, Ekanya,
Ekanya,
please you need to share after here. So we know.
We didn't say whether I'm the Ekanya or not.
But you men, fellow men who are being irresponsible, you go to the bathroom with your boxer and then you bathe, okay? And then you leave it behind. That is very irresponsible. Now, we should stop raising up our children ngabo okulya. You see that? Omwana mukuze ngalina obuvunanyizibwa.
And you know, one of the
raise
things-
up your child responsibly.
When you say raising
see
up,
that?
I like that because...
And then do you see, let me just finish this. That is why we are struggling with a lot of colleagues at work.
That's very true.
irresponsible. And you're dragging people to do work. People are being a problem to the rest of the other colleagues at work. Why? Because of a kind of home they come from. Let me tell you this, you're making your son, your daughter a liability.
Someone
To the
thinks at
world out
office
there.
They can litter office, but they
Yeah,
can't pick.
you see that?
That
I was
kind-
driving by the road
You-
and
that
I
level of
met a
entitlement.
very aged woman in a taxi at the back window, dropping whatever they wanted to do, as in dropping peelings. of
That's even very
oranges,
far. I know a
dropping
lady who
bottles,
was
doing
a
funny
secretary
things.
to a very high-ranking fellow, very big person in government.
Yeah.
And when he would leave office, she would have to go and make sure his office is nicely arranged, plus his toilet. And she always found it not flushed. After he has fully used it, not just for number
Can
one.
you imagine?
But
Really?
Yes.
Even
there would
number two would be in there.
Yes,
Can
there
you
would be
imagine?
a serious
thing.
cassava there.
And yet, now you
And
can
it's a
imagine.
married woman, so she would have to flush. And you know, some of these ministry places might not even have the water.
Yeah,
on
the
time.
water,
So she'd
yes.
have to send their scurry down to pick water, then she would have
And
to
then
flush,
she pours
and the
in.
man would continue. And this
Stories
was a
today.
married man.
Stories
can
that kids
imagine.
today, very
No, but-
unfiltered.
But
that's
the
the
unfiltered cutting.
Those are the kind of people
Not
we
the
have
men,
out
but
there.
because his
yes.
assumption is
Yeah.
I mean, that's her job.
Yes, as in you're
You
giving
know?
the community a lot of hard time
Yes.
to deal with your daughter,
Yes.
to deal with your son, for work you didn't do as a parent, for that work you didn't do as a mother, as a
abasajja, we
father.
need to take
You see
a
that?
sakate.
Yes.
We
And
need
then-
what you're
yes.
saying.
And that is why we have a lot of men just, leaving work just like that. You can't talk to them. You see that? And then you cannot sit down your daughter or your son to rebuke them.
And it's
because you
unfair.
think they'll hate you. But you see the world where they're going to. They're not going to meet either their mother or their father. Or it is not their mother or their father or their auntie who is going to employ them. You see that?
And you know what's unfortunate is the girls are being prepared very well.
Very well.
Her expectation is she's going to.
Yeah. So we need to be intentional. If they're not doing it, we as
I
the
know women.
court,
I know the women have their
guys,
issues.
bring your arms. We as the court, we are going to stand out and make you responsible men. We shall not allow.
So
this to
as we
happen
wind
again.
up, as we
Not
wind
so
up,
friends. Do you agree with me?
we agree. As we wind up and
Do you
come to
agree,
the end of the
Sarah?
show, as we wind up and come to the end of the show, one of the things that
Yeah.
I think we've listened in.
Yeah,
Parents.
very important.
Parents, please look after your children. I know we are so busy. Some of you leave your children on the TV the whole day.
Let them do housework.
Some of you leave them in tablets and phones and what, you leave them with maids. Other things are raising your children, not you. TV is raising your children. Others are buying smartphones for your children. 3-year-old, 4-year-olds. We always see them in the clinic. You see a child with a smartphone.
Right.
And that is what is raising your child. Your child is picking a lot of their information from there. So parents, be very, very intentional.
And the moment you die, you leave a lot of burden to
Be
the
very
rest of the other
intentional.
people.
Yes, remember, some of you have
You're leaving us that
some of our parents have girls and boys in the home.
Yeah.
And whatever you do for your girl, do for your boy, please. Some of you only have girls. You're raising your girls. They're going to meet a boy who is going to really torture them. And so parents with that boy who is going to be met by a girl who is prepared, please work on that boy.
Very important.
And I'm throwing this challenge to Bethany TV. We need a
Viewers.
sakate for men.
Yeah,
Because we are the leading TV in health matters and well-being.
that's true.
Can we sit as Bethany TV
and child upbringing.
and do something for these boys? We get these young boys in their P7 VAC
I think talked with the
and
marketing
work on
manager.
them. Yes,
Mm,
marketing manager is
manager.
here.
We are going to do it.
Please.
Do we need a
Yes.
sponsor to sponsor?
Yes.
Sponsor to take a send to
Sponsor, we need a sponsor. This is a very good time
Yeah,
for
I
us.
think
this is
it's
a
very
very good
important.
time, yes.
So, gentlemen, we are breaking
That is what
off.
we are
Viewers,
suffering.
we
Yeah.
thank you so much for standing in with. This is an amazing topic. We can't exhaust it, but we did
Right.
what we could. So, we thank you so much for being with us, and we are looking forward to being with you next Monday, where we have a very, very, very hot topic. Next Monday, we are discussing about sex after childbirth. So don't miss it. Otherwise, have a good evening from us from the studio, and to you, enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you
very
so much. God
yes.
bless you.
Bethany TV for health.